Hi. Today we are going to discuss the poem Last Call by Andrew Motion. Poem The Last Call by Andrew Motion. See, this is a very short poem by the poet who is a prominent figure in 20th century English literature and who lives still. He is still living. See, please. Who was born on 26th October 1952. Was born in London 26th October 1952. He was he is an eminent figure in English literature, even at present, and have read English at University College, Oxford from 1976 to 1981, where he had a meeting with Philip Larkin. He is also a figure in 20th century English literature. He met Philip Larkin in 1981, in between 1976 and 81, when he was reader of English at University College, Oxford. And he had been between 1983 and 89 editor in a publishing house, Chatto and Winder. See, thereafter he succeeded Malcolm Bradbury as the professor of creative writing in the University of East Anglia. The peculiarity of this writer is that he became poet laureate in 1999 after Ted Hughes. You may have come across with the name Ted Hughes, who has written several poems on the themes of animals, just like Thought Fox and In View of a Pig. You may have read the poem In View of a Pig and all. He had received New Lydgate Prize at Oxford for his poem Inland. He still lives in England with his wife and 3 children. That is some points regarding the poet Andrew Motion. See, we have to learn a poem, The Last Call by the poet. See, from the very title itself, you may have got an idea what will be the theme of the poem. The poem, Last Call. See, the poem is available online, and we will share some link here itself regarding the poem. YouTube link will be shared anyway. So I am going to read the poem, The Last Call. Death called me. I did not hear. He spoke again, come near. Death called me. I did not hear. He spoke again, come near. I went to look for pity. Poor death, I thought, he loves me. I went to look for pity. Poor death, I thought, he loves me. I guessed right. he did, and now I love him too, just because. See, very simple poem, but there may be annotations, and the poem needs wider analysis. Okay, the poem is on death. It is been titled as The Last Call. The poem is titled as The Last Call. What is the last call? See, one of harsh realities in our life is death. It is inevitable to meet death in our life. No one can avoid death. Here, the poet or the narrator or the speaker is meeting death. Just like you may have read the poem because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me, by the poet Emily Dickinson. Just like it, the poet also is viewing this death as a companion, and who is not ready to leave this poet, even though the poet was not giving any kind of word, any kind of attention towards the call of this death. But this call is last call, and answering to this call is inevitable. No one can avoid. Even though the poet was hesitant, was not ready, he was reluctant to meet this death and to pay heed to the call of this death at the very outset. But realizing it is necessary to meet this death, and he could not leave this death alone, he has to go along with this death. He is ready to love this death too. So, this hard one, difficult one to face, one of the harsh realities of life is being met with positively. That is the theme of this poem. Death called me. See, the very beginning itself is abrupt one. Even though the poet has used one term, the euphemistic term, the last call, in spite of the title is being stated as death, he was not ready to give the title as death or call of death. That is one harsh thing, grave thing. It is being lessened. This harshness of this death, or the difficult or hard situation of this death is being dealt with by giving a euphemistic term. Euphemism you may have came across, giving a lighter sense for something dark, something harsh. So it is been titled as Last Call. The poem is being titled as what? Last Call. But unfortunately, or fortunately or unfortunately, the poet is giving an abrupt beginning. Death called me. Even though the title is being used as the last call, in the very first line itself, poet came straight to what this last call is. Death called me. Death called me. I did not hear. He spoke again, come near. See, there is a belief death will follow us from the very beginning of life to the end of our life. It's a constant companion. Death is a constant companion. Sometimes we may become a prey to this death prematurely. That is, premature death will be there. So I did not hear. He was not ready to hear this call of death. The poet was not ready to hear call of this death. Death called me. He was very straight to the fact. Death visited him. He is a constant companion from very birth to what this death. Okay, death called me. I did not hear. He spoke again, come near. He was not ready to leave. As this poet or this narrator or the speaker was not ready to pay any kind of attention for what this call of this death, or he was not ready to pay heed to the call of this death, death again came and spoke again, what, come near. It is your time. You are destined to go or come with me. Another one, the first stanza is over. The poem is three stanzas of 4 lines. A stanza of 4 lines, three such stanzas, very simple poem it is, but the poem needs wider analysis. Okay, death called me, I did not hear. In this what hectic life, busy life, he was not ready to pay heed to the call of this death. He spoke again, come near. He spoke again, come near. The first stanza is over. I think you got an idea. Okay. Are you able to? Are you okay with what I am? Okay. Thank you. The next stanza, I went to look. I went to look for pity. Someone is calling me. At the very first, he was not ready to pay any kind of heed to this call. He was not ready to give any attention. He was careful regarding what there is death behind me as a constant companion. There is a death. He was not ready. There's a call of death. But finally, he decided to look. Who is calling? For pity. Someone is begging. Someone is there, inviting our attention. Someone is there, inviting our care. Who is that? Looking for pity, he went out. He went to look for pity. And he thought of death, what? Poor death. Poor death, he loves me. What is the attributes or features of one who loves us? He will constantly follow us. He will not be ready, even though we are not ready to give them a proper attention, a due respect. Though, if the love is pure, he will come, he will follow us constantly, just like poor death, I thought he loves me. He is not ready to leave us. So this poet is thinking of this death as poor death. The death is constantly following me. Okay, poor death. I thought he loves me. The first and second stanzas are over. Okay, I think you are getting me. Okay, I guessed right, he does. And when I visited this death, when I came out of my what den, I realized what he really loves me. He is not ready to leave me alone. He will always irritate me by constant calling. I should succumb. I should yield. I should surrender for what his call. I should surrender. and now I love him too. That is a positive attitude. One harsh reality, one dark reality, one difficult situation is behind us, is constantly following us. This situation is not ready to be cleared out. So finally the poet also decided to leave him too. And now I love him too. Just because of what he loves him, or he loves me. That is what happening in many cases of what love relationships. The poet is comparing here the constant relationship of this death, a constant call of this death, steady call of death that is unavoidable, just like the attitude of a lover who is always behind his beloved. Finally, this beloved, this lover too, have decided to pay heed to the call of this death, and now I love him too. Me too have changed my mind, and it is the time I am ready to go with this death, just because he is not ready to leave me alone. He will always be there behind me. So I decided to walk with this death. Here is poet comparing relationship of a man with death with what relationship of a lover to his beloved. Okay, very simple poem it is. 3 stanzas are there. It is been explained. Very simple poem it is, and the explanations here will be remaining as recorded classes. See, please tell your friend to come here. It will be there kept recorded. So your friends have not came and registered in this link. Anyway, it will be helpful. Okay, if you have any kind of doubts, you may ask me. Okay. Okay, thank you. Let us meet another time, as the poem is very short poem. The explanation is over. If you have any kind of doubt, leave your doubt in WhatsApp groups, anything, anywhere. Okay. Tell your friends to join here. It will be good. Thank you.